through the unfiltered political noise to bring you the facts. Unfiltered every Sunday evening on Win FM 98.9. It's the start of the week. It's time for a new perspective. It's time for Unfiltered. Join AZARD GUMBS, lawyer and deputy leader of the People's Action Movement, for raw and unfiltered political analysis of the current events in St. Kitts and Nevis. Tune in every Sunday evening from 7:30 p.m. on Win FM. Join AZARD GUMBS as he breaks the mantle and cuts through the unfiltered political noise to bring you the facts. Unfiltered every Sunday evening on Win FM 98.9. It's the start of the week. It's time for a new perspective. It's time for Unfiltered. Join AZARD GUMBS, lawyer and deputy leader of the People's Action Movement, for raw and unfiltered political analysis of the current events in St. Kitts and Nevis. Tune in every Sunday evening from 7:30 p.m. on Win FM. Join AZARD GUMBS as he breaks the mantle and cuts through the unfiltered political noise to bring you the facts. Unfiltered every Sunday evening on Win FM 98.9.
This pure mayhem, scandal, disorder. With this Labour Party in power, is this a social club in disguise? Or some kind of criminal enterprise? What a menace to society this administration turning out to be. The PM got a so-called advisor, telling people how to get away with murder. It's non-stop attack on the treasury with paper daddy and money salary. This Labour bunch shot to the core, lacking integrity, that's for sure. Economy stalled, hard life crippling. We a collective menace, menace, menace to society. It's like it's all cheap and no India. It's like lunatics running the asylum without a plan, ideas or structure. It's the people who left to suffer. No pop, no peace, pay, unemployment. No money for bills, much less enjoyment. Total advantage, that's we fake under these enemies of the state. AAG, dedicate liar. He really a pamper playing Labour third politician now for sure. Going from door to door in number 4, law and order not a priority. No one in charge of the nation's safety. DAD join the cult of the greedy. He just a menace, 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 menace to society. Government bill loud, this can end in a serious dilemma. Now that the country been run by Labour, this pure mayhem, scandal, disorder. With this Labour Party in power, is this a social club in disguise? Or some kind of criminal enterprise? What a menace to society this administration turning out to be. The PM got a so-called advisor, telling people how to get away with murder. It's non-stop attack on the treasury with paper daddy and money salary. This Labour bunch shot to the core, lacking integrity, that's for sure. Economy stalled, hard life crippling. We a collective menace, menace, menace to society. It's like it's all cheap and no India. It's like lunatics running the asylum without a plan, ideas or structure. It's the people who left to suffer. No pop, no peace, pay, unemployment. No money for bills, much less enjoyment. Total advantage, that's we fake under these enemies of the state. AAG, dedicate liar. He really a pamper playing Labour third politician now for sure. Going from door to door in number 4, law and order not a priority. No one in charge of the nation's safety.
Good evening to everyone. Good evening. I am your host, AZARD GUMBS, and welcome to another episode of Unfiltered. I am the Deputy Political Leader of the People's Action Movement, Attorney at Law, and this evening on Unfiltered, we're going to have a very unfiltered program whereby we have an open mic segment. But so much has been going on within the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and I want to start off by saying, and of course, Samuel Duggins has been in the news for the entire week based on his incompetence and his failure so far as the Minister of Sports, Agriculture, Small Businesses, and the like. And I say to this, holding Minister Samuel Duggins accountable, agriculture, sports, and the unfulfilled promises. Since being assigned responsibility for the Medical Cannabis Authority by Prime Minister Terence Drew, Samuel Duggins has made bold commitments to revitalizing the agricultural sector, including jumpstarting the medical marijuana industry and aligning medical cannabis with the overall agricultural sector. Yet today, progress on the medical marijuana sector remains stalled, with no clear indication of advancement. This delay not only hampers economic opportunities, but also raises concern about the effectiveness of leadership in a sector that the Labour government has prioritized for the economic diversification of St. Kitts and Nevis. Additionally, sports, an essential pillar for youth development, has suffered from mismanagement under his watch. Major sporting events, including the Rams Inter-Primary and TDC Inter-School Championship in St. Kitts and Nevis, have been postponed due to logistical issues. The long-promised completion of the Kim Collins Stadium also remains unfinished, nearly 2 years since the project began. These delays deny young athletes the fair and competitive sporting platforms they deserve, a disservice to the youth by the Prime Minister Terence Jewell-led Labour administration. Moreover, Minister Duggins continues his extensive and unjustifiable travel at the taxpayers' expense, a pattern that began when he assumed office. While he frequently journeys abroad, there is little evidence of tangible benefits to the agricultural sector, sports, or even his constituents. Leadership is not just about attending international conferences, but also delivering real results at home. His constituents in constituency number 4, particularly small farmers and young people, deserve more than unfulfilled promises. Agriculture is vital to St. Kitts and Nevis. Sports plays an important role in shaping the next generation. We must hold Minister Duggins accountable, not just to his constituents, but to the people of the nation as a whole. Having received the trust of voters, Minister Duggins must ensure that progress is not just promised, but achieved. Words must match with action, and it is a time now for meaningful progress, not further delays or postponements. Pleasant evening to both of you, Troy and Kyle Flanders. Of course, Samuel Duggins continues to let down the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, continues to let down the people who voted for him. In fact, I'm sure that his party, the Labour Party, sees him as the worst performing minister that they have. We see recently that the TDC Inter-School Championships and the Rams Inter-School Primary Competition had to be postponed. And many persons are saying that this is not going to be a postponement. It's going to be a cancellation. Because if you look at the list of activities that we have, Easter is coming up, school soon go on break, school soon resume after the break, and then it's exam season. So where is Minister Duggins going to find the time to have athletes compete in such a competition? And you know what is sad as well? When you look at the SKNAAA, when you look at the Athletic Association, these meets act as major fundraisers, especially the inter-school fundraisers. So persons, the sporting community, the athletes can not only train, but they could offer some sort of revenue for when they go overseas for the games.
All right, good night to all the unfiltered listeners out there, Unfiltered Army, Unfiltered Community. Yes, I just want to continue what you're saying. Yeah, so in high school, this time around, would have been my Spirit Week. That's when all the students getting hyped, getting ready for inter-school, battle of the high schools, and everybody getting all, ready to go. You would have had your sport there and that kind of thing, Red House, Blue House, whomever. Then we put that aside, say, no man, time for us to come together as a school, and we go and, battle those other schools. But what's happening now? There's nothing for the students to get hype about. There's nothing for the community to get hype about, because again, postponement of the inter-school. And I don't think they really understand the profound effect or impact this thing has on the economy as a whole and on people as a whole in St. Kitts and Nevis. Because you realize that it's an economic activity that generates funds for a lot of persons. People carry their tray up there, do what they have to do. Persons, hairstyle, those who sell the clothing, the weave and everything, all them things gonna get money for that. But that is no longer gonna happen. And so you realize that what could have been a trickle-down effect is null and void. There's no sports. And it really hurts my heart because you have to understand that coming out of 2020, coming out of COVID, we would have missed some key years in inter-school. And so a whole generation of athletes might have been lost. Some person going to look back in the school years and say, oh my goodness, I could have been, I could have been number one athlete, but I just missed the opportunity. So I'm thinking the minister should have seen this, should have understood that I can't afford to mess up. I cannot afford to, since COVID gone, we missed 2-3 years, we can't miss 2 years again. And the last time we had inter-school, right, the joke was that persons up there in Kim Collins Stadium complaining about the cheers. All they were complaining about is the fact that, may I pay $50 for this. $50, lad, man, can I get the price? And I don't mind. I could sit in a little break chair for a little $25. We ain't going to get into school at all. We're not gone all together. The little chair now, we could do well with the little chair, man. If no chair was up there at all in track fine, I would have gone up and sit on this step and watch my sports. But nothing at all. Postpone altogether. Man, Caribbean coming up. You realize that in the Caribbean, we have a comparative advantage in sprinters. What can happen to the St. Kitts? The other day, the girl in Antigua did very well in an indoor meet the other day. We're St. Kitts.
Exactly. And so we have to look at the fact that is a trickle-down effect. It's not just the postponement of any game. It is one of the most anticipated games in St. Kitts and Nevis. A lot. And if you look at even the primary school for many persons would have been for the first time that they would have touched the field and represented their school. Think about the many boys and girls who for the first time would have been representing their school denied of that opportunity because the incompetence of a minister.
AZARD, good night again. AZARD, think about it. Last year, the debate was about going over to Nevis. So we would have thought that that thing would have been settled by now. You had a whole year to prepare up there because the repairs was supposed to complete before last year meet.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So they had to send the meat over to Nevis because they didn't complete the repairs.
Yes.
And now another full sporting year come again, and you're telling the people that you still ain't complete the repairs.
But you see, Troy, Samuel Duggins is, I don't know what he's doing as the Minister of Sports. I mean, it's a managerial position where it is that you just have to manage the affairs of the ministry. You are not the one laying the track down physically. You are not the one who has to do the day-to-day physical work. You have a whole staff. You have whole individuals. So for it not to be accomplished, one has to speak towards his managerial skills. And of course, he might be a good person. I'm not saying that he might be a good person. But when you put someone to do a job, you expect that job to be performed to the best of that individual's capability, especially when that individual has taken a 33% increase from the other members who served in the same position, who did much more than he is doing now. When you look at the former ministers, Sean Richards, when you look at Janelle Powell, they were not making the same monies that Mr. Duggins is now making as Minister of Sports, and he's performing far less. We have never had the postponement, to my knowledge, of this event
Outside of COVID.
outside of COVID. And one has to understand that when the Team Unity administration was in power, and that when there was a second term of office, we basically went into a second term, our Team Unity with the People's Action Movement went in the second term with COVID over our heads. And even during the time of COVID, it was not this bad. It was not this bad in the economy. It was not this bad in terms of activities. In fact, Remember, we had carnival hosted even during
Bubble,
COVID.
bubble.
Yes, the bubble carnival. So imagine all the work that Team Unity, in which Pam was a part of, during the time of COVID, and these guys, these ministers, they have to their exposure, what they have at their disposal. Sorry, not facing with the same challenges. Imagine if they had been in power during COVID, what everything would have been done.
But are we really surprised though? Because I remember last year during the budget debate when Minister Richards just took Samuel to task with everything he's talking about. We left it in a disrepair, this, that, the other. Minister Richards showed pictures, showed everything. That look, the stadium was on its way. I remember when I was a manager, a teacher manager carrying the school, a team to inter school, and the calling center was just a little, a little tent, and they got dirt and stuff like that. But then Sean them saw that, and they make sure they went and they build a whole structure there. So when you have calling, you have a whole building that they at least can go in and sit down and wait until they are ready to get marshal out to the track. So all the lies he was telling about this repair, and Sean give him all the pictures. He thought, well, okay, that should let some fire under his foot. That I got to make sure I do my best. But now they man come this year talking about rain and all kind of story. Like you. I mean, you said that you don't know if that's his best ability, but what if that's it? What if that is the best of the man's ability? What if that's he peak?
Yeah.
I mean, that could be it.
It's scary.
Yeah, it's very scary because I can't see why somebody pointing a light on you. You're under the microscope and you're still not performing.
Exactly. And I said to persons before, we had a press conference, the People's Action Movement, just last week on Wednesday. And I said to persons that Mr. Duggins has to be the most incompetent minister ever, the only one who fails the same test repeatedly. He has the same test. Complete the stadium so it could be used for sports. We know that the sports term is in sometime around March. Since time immemorial, it's not something that has moved. It's not something that has changed. He knew this when he entered into office. He knew this before he entered into office. To this day, he can't get the same test right. He can't finish the stadium. And of course, what Samuel Duggins does when he knows he can't finish and he's incompetent of doing the finishing touches on the stadium, he blames the acts of God. Acts of God said that it was rain. And Troy, Kyle, I have had days where I am saying that the place is so hot, that my AC was not working right. And I had to get my AC up and running because the place was so hot. So I wonder, where is Samuel Duggins? Is he in a different world? Is he speaking about some different reality that we don't know about? Because clearly, it is based on his incompetence why the stadium is not completed now, and no act of God.
But you're right, because since he made that proclamation about rain, no rain was falling, It's been dry ever since, real hot,
Exactly.
and still nothing. So
Even-
question though,
Even God saying, Samuel, don't blame me on this.
So did he know at the press conference? Did he know he wasn't going to be completed? Because he didn't come right out and say, he was saying, if maybe. So did he know? Or he was just trying to mislead?
But the thing about it too, right? If you look at the time that he had his press conference and he spoke about the stadium and acts of God, there was a poster created.
Yeah.
A poster created with the time and date.
Yeah.
So it meant that the minister expected the stadium to be completed in time for the games. So it showed that although he expected it, he dropped the ball again.
So what is plan B though? Did they come up with a plan B? What's next? Where do you go from here in terms of the students and the athletes? And I mean, I really don't want them to miss it. But like you said, school almost closed now. And once children go out for vacation, that's it. The mindset done gone.
2 weeks time, school are closed.
Just about, So I don't know what's next. But I mean, every week we come here, he makes it too easy. The failure is too pronounced. But the thing is not him alone. Because it's all of them.
And it's not even within one ministry. It's also when you look at agriculture. Samuel Duggins has failed in agriculture. He talks about medical marijuana. I don't know where that is in terms of any development. That was touted to be one of the areas in which the Labour administration would be taking St. Kitts and Nevis in terms of economic diversification. Where is that? Why did the Prime Minister put that in his hands? Especially considering that he has not done a good job with any other of his ministries. You look at the small business creative economy, and you see that he is doing nothing in relation to the small businesses and the creative economy. In fact, some persons said that he's competing with the same persons he's put there to serve with. And so when one looks at all of this and looks at all of his ministries, he's not doing anything. Why is he still being paid by taxpayers?
Got a bonus. I mean, increase in salary. But you're right, though. I think this week I saw them relaunch a TV station. I think that was launched on the Unity before, right? They had a TV station for creative economy before, right? But then they relaunched again.
I'm not sure. I know what you're speaking of, though, because I think they have a Create TV.
Yeah.
Because Mr. Duggins like camera, lights, and no action. So, of course, there is going to be something which he creates to make himself look good, even though nothing is happening. So, I'm not surprised there is something to that, but it's lights, camera, no action.
But I'll tell my good people in agriculture, I mean, we're gonna touch it eventually, but there's nothing happening there, and we're gonna touch it on a serious note. We're gonna touch it, but maybe for next show. But we got you. We got you still.
But then, Azad, Samal has been allowed to fail over and over.
We have
and
a caller.
over again.
Caller, you're live on Unfiltered. Caller? Caller?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Brother Azad, how are you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
How are you, Azad?
I'm good.
I am humble. I just chimed in late, but I heard you ruffling some feathers with the sport minister, the smart agriculture minister.
Yes.
I wanted to take him on, but you really put the pig in the bag right now. First of all, I don't think Samuel is up to this portfolio he has. Okay? I think Samuel is more into the marijuana business than anything else. And he always looks like he smoke up, like he red and high, like he ready to fly. To tell you the truth, I am very, very disappointed with the way the country is being governed. And that's why I'm a strong advocate to get them out of office. Okay? And I don't care who vets with me. I born alone. Okay? And I'm going to give Jackie jacket. But I need you to call me off the record. I can give you my number. I think you have an idea who I am.
I may
If
have
you don't remember, you could talk to Burl.
Okay.
Right? Because
Yes.
I have a strategy regardless we are not on the same platform, we still can collaborate.
Yes.
Because we have one goal, to put all those kleptocrats and these misfits out of office and put in people who is trustworthy and worthy of doing whatever needs to be done for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yes.
So, I'm going to stop right here right now, but I hope Samuel is hearing me, and I hope the Prime Minister is hearing.
Yes. Carly, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I
Okay.
gone.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you.
Sir.
Yes. Troy?
So as I was saying, Samuel they allow him to fail. So Samuel's failure is the administration failure.
So you don't think they try to make sure that he is doing well?
If you look at the interschool, that the Ministry of Education have a part in that also.
Yes.
And to postpone it, and that will be a cabinet decision. Samuel by himself wouldn't make that decision. So Samuel is the failure which they push out front. But is the whole administration is failing. It starts from the man who got the purse. Because maybe Samuel could come and tell he didn't get the money and the time to get the stadium finished. It could be that also. I'm not making no excuse for Samuel, mind you.
He might come with an article and now come up with a new story by tomorrow.
Well, if he could tell me that is not him, is the Minister of Finance, I would say that's exactly what I'm speaking about.
Because remember, he never blamed them. He blamed God
Right.
and his work.
Yes. And then the Minister of Public Works, because Public Works must have something to do with the stadium. It's over 2 years they're doing this job.
But we know, Troy, that the Labour administration, of course, Samuel's failure is akin to their performance because they have been failing all the time since they've been in office. We will look at the housing situation with Dr. Hanley, who's the Deputy Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, and how he was fooled by the East Coast, thinking that East Coast was going to be their savior to bring a housing revolution. And of course, we would have liked that housing resolution because, of course, that would have meant that people of St. Kitts and Nevis would have been given the opportunity to own homes, some over 2,400 persons, because we know oftentimes it's not just one person that is blessed with a home, but a whole family that is blessed with a home. And so it makes me question how gullible, how prepared is this administration to do the people's work? Because Dr. Richards, our lone parliamentarian, said during the PAM conference that East Coast came to the team Unity, in which Pam was a part. Mr. Singh came to him. He played the voice notes. So there was he gave evidence of the conversation. And it is as though the Labour administration failed to do its homework. Anyone who approaches them and has a brilliant idea, they don't do the checks and balances to ensure that the work is capable to be done by that individual. And so now they put us on the face of humiliation. People must be laughing at us. Persons must have been laughing when they saw the pictures of the groundbreaking ceremony. And persons must have said, by the fool Labour again, by them people in St. Kitts gullible.
You see, one of the problems, right, with politics in singers in general is that they don't know when to turn it on, turn it off. What I mean by that is that when this current Labour came into office, they acted as though nothing at all happened in the past 7 years. Nothing ever happened. They keep talking about back to the Douglas Labour administration. One conversation with Minister Richards would have saved Hanley all the embarrassment. One conversation. Because you hear the voice note, yo, the man sound like a real suspect. The man sound a real suspect. So you're going to listen to that, hear that, see that, and not jump in and say, yeah, good idea. Let me go with he. One conversation would have saved them all the embarrassment.
But even me, Kyle, when I heard Dr. Hanley and Labour talk about these 2,400 homes, 600 being built per year, I said, how is that going to be possible? You understand? I said to myself, that seems far-fetched based on what we currently do, what we have done in the past. And I said to myself, is Dr. Hanley really believing himself? Has he really been fooled by East Coast? And I said to myself, why did Dr. Hanley engage, or the government of St. Kitts and Nevis engage a foreign body, a Trinidadian? Aren't our contractors, local contractors and businessmen, persons in that area, capable of doing the work? I am sure that had Dr. Hanley and the Labour administration given the work to local businessmen, we will have had more homes built than now. Because it's not hard to beat that record. It's 0 out of 1,200 so far. 0 out of 1,200.
But coming off of Team Unity, where they had built over 375 decent, big homes for people, big square footage for people. They had the whole plan done layout, so all they had to do just continue what was going on at NHC, right? So they come with some new idea, say house them smart, right? That's the first thing they try to fool people, smart house. Because, I mean, when you clap your hand, the lights come on. And if you whistle too hard, it might just turn down.
I keep saying this, anytime they talk about smart house, smart hospital, I said the people of St. Kitts and Nevis only wanted a smart government, and that they failed to deliver to us.
But that's them.
You see, I was so perplexed when I saw this whole, prefab house thing coming on, because for me, I looked at the development of housing in Singapore over the generations, from PAM to Labour. You see them getting better in terms of structure. You see them getting bigger. You see the full square footage improving, that thing like that.
Yeah.
So why are we stepping backwards? What is this government and regression in St. Kitts? When they want people to go back to sports and the play field, they want to put back the bus the same place. Just a lot of backward steps. Same thing with the housing. I had a conversation with I was privy to a conversation with somebody who, knows nothing about the houses. They said they would never even buy one for themselves. Not them.
But you remember, Kyle, when these houses, the design came out, people were saying they look ugly. They were atrocious.
And they were small.
And they were small.
For a lot of money.
For a lot of money.
Yeah.
Dr. Hanley had to go back to the drawing board because the people of St. Kitts and Nevis were not pleased.
But
and it makes me wonder.
That was the first red flag,
That was the first red flag. But it makes me wonder. You come with these designs to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And one thing about Kittitians and Nevisians, we have an eye for quality.
Yeah.
I don't know why this administration does not have an eye for quality. But we, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, have an eye for quality. And so, how could he have thought the audacity to present such houses to people?
Be frank with you,
He had to go back to the drawing board. If we make our minds go back, we will see that Dr. Hanley even accepted something that the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, when they saw the designs, rejected.
Yeah.
So if the average man and woman would reject those, why did he accept them? He had to go through and do the plans again. And so it is alarming that this administration, and so when we talk about how St. Kitts and Nevis presents itself to the international arena, I have to be worried. All of us have to be worried. Because if these individuals could be so easily fooled, how do they represent us on the international stage when they travel all about the place?
Azad, I've always wondered about that, Because when they call themselves the A team, right? And you look up there, you ain't seen nobody qualifying certain things. I don't wonder what in the room, what are they negotiating in the room? What is going on in them rooms there, right? And it's a trend. Because I remember when someone released the mock-up for the Creative Center, the creative people said, no, what that deal?
Yeah,
Why
go
back with that deal?
Yeah.
So it's a trend now. Like, they just run cat before the horse.
Paula? And of course, this administration is incompetent. Incompetent from the start. Go ahead, Carl.
Thank you again. Let me chime in on those houses.
Yes.
One thing I didn't hear. Yes. One thing I didn't hear you mention in respect to those house. Those houses, the material would have been wonderboard. Okay, and those houses would not be could withstand a hurricane, as it was mentioned, could stand a category 10 hurricane or earthquake. So yes, you said a good point. Thank you, people like quality. Okay, even though they might not be able to afford it, but that was a lowness of categorizing petition. It's like they don't deserve nothing good. I mean, houses were built before from stones, black.
Yeah.
Okay, why go back? Huh?
Exactly. And when you speak to the average person, they didn't like the design. Everybody say it was ugly. When you speak to the local contractors, they're saying that it is nothing new. This design,
they see it already.
they see it already.
Yeah.
Why is it that the government that people put there, Kittitians and Nevisians put there to serve them, couldn't give them the opportunity? Why?
They don't care.
To sum it up, my brother. Thank you, people, in their view, don't deserve a quality of life, but they're wrong. Okay? And they do not mean well for the people. It's just like, take what you get and have nothing to say. And that is so stupid and that's so wrong.
Thank you, Carter.
Minister.
Thank you for your contribution.
You know something? That's the hallmark of labor. Because I remember growing up in Saddlers, and when persons left the sugarcane industry and stuff like that, they had this invention called the half a haghead. Half a haghead. Douglas government gonna give people a piece of house, nothing inside, you know. Like here, take that. That for you. Half a haghead. They don't care about people. Just give you any slap because the reality is people desperate. People need housing. It is needed. And so they feel as they could just simply just shout any slap and we have to eat it up. But we need quality housing. Not just any, if you're going to invest $300,000 and look at that's just this upfront the sticker cost, because you ain't looking about insurance, you're looking about any other things. A lot of hidden fees in housing, So that's just a start. 200 to 300,000, that's a start. That ain't the reality yet. But if I'm investing, it has to be something that, as they say, sustainable. You gotta be something gonna last for my grandchild, great grandchild, generational. Not them thing there.
When you look at the houses, you wonder if Augusta Win will knock them down. And after you pay so much money for it. And then you look at the purpose of NHC. When you look at NHC and what we know NHC to be, NHC is supposed to provide housing for persons who are less fortunate.
AZARD, I work for NHC, right?
Yes.
In another life, I used to do construction.
Yes.
I work for NHC. NHC and the Team Unity was putting out a good quality home. A good quality house, was built by NHC. So I can see why they didn't continue that matter that NHC had going. When I tell you about good, solid quality of house, and you're talking about bedrooms that was like 12 by 12 or 12 by 14, them size deal. That at the Team Unity time to the end of them, that's the size of house. That's the size of bedroom they were putting out at that time.
Imagine the same person for East Coast. And the more you talk about it, Troy, we had, as you said, NHC was capable of building these homes, very capable.
Yeah.
Strong homes built by local contractors. You say you were involved.
With local material.
With local material, meaning local business, meaning money circulating in the country.
Mean a stimulus for the economy.
Exactly.
Because that's what construction do.
Exactly.
Stimulate the economy.
So we have a I don't even know if we have any capital projects under this administration. Nothing to stimulate the economy, making sure that money flows through the streets of St. Kitts and Nevis, to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. These ministers, it's as though they have continued from the inception, thought that the people of St. Kitts and Nevis too good for the work. We're not going to help. We're not going to empower the people of St. Kitts and Nevis by creating opportunities for them. We're going to go outside. That is what they thought from the start.
Okay, off the top of my head, I could call a bunch of capital projects, major projects that Team Unity did, right? That stimulated the economy. You had the roofing project, the infrastructure reform project, because a lot of schools got their roofs repaired, got their painting done.
A lot of government building.
The bus terminals, the pier, the Old Road project, just to name a few. Show me the equivalent under this government right now. Show me the equivalent of any major projects that they have launched that would get man a bang a drink for the time because money just back in the economy. Show me one of them. Projects.
you look at Flanders. You look at the daycare of the industrial side.
Oh yes.
That daycare was built under the People's Action Movement administration. And until Team Unity come to office, he had on the same paint, the same shingles, the same doors, everything. Not one nail was pung during the 20 years of Denzel Douglas. So you find when Team Unity come, as you're talking about, they had to do a load of these things to stimulate the economy. That's why you see people saying money was around.
That's how it was. I mean, one country they've gotten 5 houses.
You're
somebody another took the road.
Remember the road project?
The road project when they do the sidewalks for so
You're
many.
talking about $70-something million.
And you realize how important the project was because look how many people running now and jogging. And you had the sidewalk to run and jog now. Like these are foresight. These are advanced thinking.
It's as though we, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, always have to keep the Labour administration's feet to the fire. Look at it. Our political leader some weeks ago spoke about the deplorable condition of the Newtown Road. Well, we see that the road is now being constructed. It's resurfaced by the health center.
Yeah.
And it makes one wonder. So Dr. Hanley, who have lived in that community for years, could not see it fit that unless the political leader or until the political leader spoke about it, to do something about it.
Well, imagine she ain't elected it and she don't start.
Exactly. And it shows that this administration, this Labour administration, they don't care about the people. And we continue to say they don't care about the people. Let us look at the BBW, they call it. What they call it? The
Wallet boost.
the budget boost.
Wallet.
Whatever. They
love the acronyms.
They love the acronyms. So they come with something that gonna sound fancy, but even the aim effective. Ain't mean nothing. So instead of developing that into ensuring that the average man and woman, the mom and pop shops get something, they have their own, most of these things are back to their government institutions because you have to pay the electricity, and so that goes back to the government. So what about creating opportunity through that program whereby the mom and pop shops in the community could be a part of it, where persons could have bought goods, food items, circulate the money so it goes to the mom and pop shops that are struggling now in the community. But this administration, they don't care. They lack the ideas, they lack the vision. It's as though their task is to see how can we destroy St. Kitts and Nevis. That's all they care about. Because how they can destroy everything that has been built by the leaders before them.
Apparently there was no 7 years. I tell you, people acting like there was no 7 years before. But the thing is, right, we only spoke about the road and Shani having to talk and see some changes. It was a running joke because people used to plant plants in the petroleum study, right, putting plants and stuff, put it on social media. Next day, they reach to fix the whole them. Because they're a reactive government. They don't think about anything. You're talking about economy and boosting. Look at the Bassi High project. You know how much jobs that could have created? And had that been in the Newtown community, right? That would have bring boost to that area.
And transform the whole area.
We're going to transform the whole area. Jeffrey on the podium. We're going back to the old site. Come to Newtown. Newtown can't get a school to boost the local economy. These are things they don't understand.
You look around the areas, you know, the 1, 2, 3, 4 eatery. You know what a difference that you're going to make for those persons?
They don't even understand how not to be fooled by people outside.
I mean, even as far as done by Tota. Because Tota just serve breakfast. The teachers, they might have passed there before they go up and get their breakfast.
It would have been closer to the Newtown area. Yeah, because it would have been, it would have been in that area.
Right close to Jeffrey. Yes. Close to where he lived before. So you know how much things would have pop up there, you know how much vibes going on there, just the economy would have been rolling.
A buzz.
Look at Kayan and Windsor. Like these, look at Ross and the surroundings. People got apartment. The school would generate economic flow for people.
And you could see that they wanted to go back to the Bassi High School's old location. Have they done any proper testing to see whether or not that site is suitable for the students that they want to bring there? They made a whole song and dance about the structure and it having memories and values, and they destroyed it.
They rip it down. Yeah.
So one has to wonder, what are they talking about?
It was just a political thing, and people had to suffer because of them and their politics.
Since when the topic at this school, because I don't think they understand how serious this thing is, right? I have teacher friends and family who teaching at Bassi High. And they are telling me how difficult it is to manage a school with 4, 5, 6 campuses. Sometimes students fall through the crack because to leave from one campus, to go all the way across, they don't bolt left, bolt right. It is hard to manage the school. But yet it don't seem like it's a priority for Jeffrey. It don't seem like it's a priority for Labour because other things come first. They talk about the school. 3 years on now. What going on? Nothing?
But the contractors and the tradesmen who got the tools rest down for 3 years. Eh? For 3 years, contractors, carpenters, and nobody could get no work.
And this is a thing, you know how strong an economy is when you have capital project, when you have construction going on.
It stimulates the
It
economy.
stimulates the economy
Yeah.
because it's a all-inclusive approach. Persons, you have to buy materials. You have to employ individuals. Everybody goes to work. We have a caller. Caller, you're live on Unfiltered.
Yes, Azar.
Yes.
Yes. Let me chime in again, as much as I can. What someone said to. Look at the health situation in St. Kitts. Right now, I am so sorry for this young lady. I happened to be in St. Kitts one time where the person fell sick. I'm now on the health care. And I gave her a ride to this jet in France. And they ran some tests on her because she was screaming for pain in her belly, her private area, and stuff like that. And to find out, whatever test results came up, she was contagious. And today, she went to a private doctor, and the private doctor would not treat her unless she have $1,000. And I'm trying my best to see how I could help her. But the healthcare is a mess. Healthcare is for the less fortunate, and those are government duties for the less fortunate. What do you think they have the treasury for? What do you think all these money generated for? It's from the taxpayers to help up the taxpayers. But guess what? You know, there was a big stimulus in St. Kitts and Nevis. The government had a stimulus. You remember what the stimulus was? Anyone can say yes or no? But the raise that they raise and their pocket, they keep on extending their pocket. Somebody else getting nothing.
Well, them get stimulated.
That's the stimulus. The stimulus was there, but the stimulus was for themselves. You get any AZARD? You get any my other colleagues?
Nope.
Okay. So then I think about nobody else. They are the elitists. But guess what? Time is drawing near. Time longer than twice. Okay? I too well want the election call because I want a seat. I need number 8. So AZARD, I'm going to help you enough.
Yes,
And I
thank
want
you.
you to help.
But if we're talking about the economy,
Thank you for your contribution.
so we're talking about the economy and stimulating the economy and boosting the economy. I'm actually worried about our economy. You know. I think our economy is in crisis. Because look what's going to happen. In a few months, they're going to stop the wallet boost. And then the minimum wage should increase. But yet there's no economic activity. There's nothing boosted in the economy. What's going to happen to the business community? When the cost of production goes up and then nothing is happening. No volume. The velocity of money is slow. No money is circulating at all. So what's going to happen to the business community?
And then when we look at the business community, oftentimes persons look at big businesses who can sometimes absorb losses better than the small businesses. But a lot of times, the small businesses, they have to pay so many, you have to pay unincorporated tax. You then have to pay the social security for the workers. You then have to pay increase. So the expenditure for small businesses would increase. And as you said, there's no stimulation in the economy whereby these businesses are making money to offset their expenses. A lot of persons, business owners, have been forced to close shop. Not because they want to, but because they have to. We have another caller.
Greetings.
Good evening.
Hello? Greetings.
Yes.
Pleasant good night.
Yes.
Good night.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is Unfiltered, right?
Yes, it is Unfiltered.
Okay. I was just listening. This is Rascolonji.
Yes.
You're talking about the economy.
Yes.
All right. Would you agree that the whole Western economies, the whole Western world is in a crisis?
There has been some difficulties, yes.
Or some difficulties? So you don't think you have an impact on our economy?
Listen, there are we elected ministers, we elected persons. Of course, there might be an impact, but we elect persons to ensure that they can buttress the external forces. When we have Russ, before you continue, because I think I know what you're trying to get. When we had the entire world faced with COVID-19, St. Kitts and Nevis under a team unity administration in which Pam was a part, did better than many of the other countries. We need leadership that even in the face of difficulty will be able to come up with creative ideas and plan to weather the storm. I don't think we have that now.
Okay, fine. I agree with what you're saying, but you don't think this is the after effects of COVID? Remember, Team Unity was using the CBI money to buttress the economy, right? No, you know that we can't sell no passport to Russia.
That was in terms of the CBI money and Russians being excluded. That happened on the Team Unity in 2022.
Yeah.
That was a statement made by the government. Regulations were put in place excluding those nationalities, and still in 2022 we receive the highest or one of the highest revenue from the CBI. And so that alone cannot be used as an excuse for the ill performance of this Labour administration and their handling of the CBI program.
Fine. But the point I'm making, what we are suffering is the after effects of COVID, my brother. Because what I'm saying to you, right, that's why you see we people have to unite. This time and Labour divide got done with. Let me finish.
Okay.
What I'm saying to you, my brother. Right now, right, the United States is selling passport to Russia for $5 million. We can't sell them no passports, right? We can't sell them no passport here, but America is selling them passports. Not only that, America is buying oil from Russia every day. Do you know that?
Russ, what America is doing is the concern of America. What we should be doing is focusing
No.
on...
But if it's the concern of America, well, we can't sell them the passport. Because
Russ,
America tells us we can't sell them.
Russ, this goes beyond the CBI program and the selling of passport. This is about good governance and running a country.
But
I
AZARD,
don't have no problem with that. I'm not saying that they're not mismanagement, wasting money in certain areas. What I'm saying, the main impact is from COVID.
Russ,
But,
let me ask you a question. Are you satisfied with the performance of this administration?
No, but what I'm saying...
Are you
listen what I'm
satisfied, yes
saying to
or
you.
no? Are you
Listen what I'm
satisfied?
saying. Listen what I'm saying to you, my brother.
Okay.
You see, because we're getting it twisted. I'm saying what is happening in this economy right now is from COVID.
Russ,
This COVID, listen what I'm saying to you.
Russ,
Russ, we have to call us on the line.
Economy.
um,
And not only that,
Russ, Russ.
Timothy Harris said that.
Russ, let me ask you a question.
The economy.
Let me ask you a question, Russ. You didn't think that COVID has taught us a lesson that by all I can know, so agriculture should have been a leading role in diversing the economy?
I agree with you.
So then we shouldn't. Let me finish then. Since you agree with me, we at this point in time we shouldn't be laying the blame at COVID or laying the blame at the outer world, because we have enough fertile land. We should have been feeding ourselves, and we should have been talking about trading when we have a surplus.
Russ,
I agree
Russ,
with you.
who do you blame?
I agree with
Who
you.
you-
I agree with you.
Russ, do you blame? Do you blame the United States for Jeffrey Hanley's fumbling of the East Coast housing project? Do you
No,
blame
but
the
what I'm
United
saying,
States?
my brother, what I'm saying to you, let's say the government change. Let's say the government change today, right? The new government can't fix what's going on because the main impact is global.
So of an election, if you are putting your hands up in the air and saying that no administration will do any better than this one, and I really question how you could if that is even true, because this administration is not doing anything. So you're rather
But brother, what I'm saying to you, don't care what administration is, right? The only way we can fix this, our people have to unite. Not only unite here, but everywhere we are. Black people have to unite. That's the main issue.
okay, Russ.
We
Thank you.
can't survive. We can't survive as an entity just by St. Kitts and Nevis.
Okay.
The people have to unite. Yes, Trump launching what? Right now, people who have green card in the United States. Trump is getting rid of them.
Russ, we have some callers on the line. We acknowledge your contribution, and we do take the point that we have to unite. Thank you so much. We have another caller. Call you live on Unfiltered.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
This is the closest I may think I will get to Ras. Is it that's Ras Aya or Kolenji?
Kalanji.
That's
Kolenji.
yeah, that was Kalanji.
Yeah, identified as that's Kalanji.
Okay, my apologies.
Kalanji.
My apologies.
Ras Kolenji. Yes, no problem. Okay. Ras Kolenji, let me just chime in on your thoughts. I believe sometimes you don't lose the path that you've been traveling on, which is acceptable. But you see something, you are saying, you're making compare with America selling Russians passport and think it's not to be sell Russian. Let me tell you something. You got to look at the fact. It's a national security for America. Okay? Anyone can come into St. Kitts should the money is there. Okay? But where you think they want to come? But they want to come to the mainland to hurt America. America have to put up their guards. Who is coming in from point A to point B? And I agree. I agree with that. Because America is vulnerable, especially to the Caribbean. Okay? So, while America have the checks and balance to know who coming in their country, whether it's Russian, Chinese, Middle Eastern, or Arabs, they have a bigger card than us. We are just picking in the area. Picking, you know what picking is? The leftover potatoes.
Yeah.
We don't have no cards because we can't even defend ourselves. All we could do is bang our mouth. I agree with America. So guess what? I agree to unite. I agree to unite. And what Granny say. Okay? But Rascalanji, you got to think before you talk. I love you, man. I'm not bashing, but sometimes you got to really look back at the drawing board and see where you are falling off. So I'm going to pull you on. Okay? Love you, brother.
Thank you for your contribution, caller. Thank you so much. Yes, and this goes beyond uniting, because we could unite as much as we want. If we have leadership that fails us, we'll be just united in failure.
AZARD, I was looking at a graph with OACS countries, and you want to take it down, Mr. Flanders? Okay, go ahead, Mr. Flanders. You got it right there to go ahead. Because when you look at the GDP and the growth, right? St. Kitts happened to be down when St. Kitts used to be number one. We're there about fifth now.
Yes.
So we're about there.
So we can't blame
COVID. So if there's other countries seems to like they're getting it right, well, we can't get it right. What happened to us?
Because our leaders are incompetent.
Oh, that's the reason.
They are incompetent.
They are failures.
Failures.
I don't know why he blaming COVID when the minister themselves are both talking about how they rebound from COVID and this and that, and we had
open up St. Kitts and
Nevis. We had lockdown, and because it was lockdown, we do.
Joe says that. Joe said he opened it up and
he opened it up and things take off. So you can't blame COVID.
I never heard Samuel Duggins for the stadium not being completed
because of COVID. He was
ready. Exactly. A lot of
I never heard Jeffrey Hanley when he talks about the failure with the East Coast blame COVID on the United States.
Right. But you see, the thing is, right? The gentleman talking about United States impacting us like that. So then why in God's earth did the Ministry of Agriculture sign a deal with a U.S. company, Tabasco, for us to export Tabasco up there? Trump said you're going to put tariff on the globe. Everybody going to people put tariff on everybody. So why would they sign that deal now? So you can't have it both ways. And the thing is, we're trying to avoid the CBI talk. We're talking about economic diversification.
Right.
Bringing new things to generate income in our economy outside of CBI. That's not what we were talking about at all. We're talking about new ventures, construction, agriculture, certain services, educational tourism, sports tourism, a whole lot of different things. And if you realize that there's no investment happening in things, who felt that now? Which other minister feel now? Who in charge of investment?
That's the Dr. Denzel Douglas.
All of them.
Investment.
All of them.
You see, I tell you, it's
All of them
failure.
have
Every single minister in this administration, starting from the captain, right down to the I mean, I could recall that the farmers were saying that they give the ministry to the weakest minister, and that was Samuel.
Yes.
So we always highlight that Samuel is the weakest minister. But it's very low, but it ain't no distance. Ain't no great distance between Dr. Joe and Samuel. There ain't no great distance between them. Every single one of them has failed this country.
All of them perform below the mark.
Thought they were the A team though.
But you see, don't fool yourself, you know.
We have a caller. Caller, you're live and unfiltered. Caller?
Yes, yeah, good evening, man. AZARD, how much time we got left, man?
The
Good evening, man. How you
volume.
doing?
Increase the volume. Can't hear.
That ball.
Yes, that sound like Burl.
Yeah.
Caller?
Yeah, you can hear
Talk
me now?
louder, Burl. We can't hear you properly in here.
Oh, wow. What about now?
But,
let me try back, man. Let me try right back.
Yes.
as we were saying, right? We were talking about trade. We're talking about investment. All of those fall under Denzel Douglas, who was Prime Minister for 20 years. But you can't bring a single investment to this country since you got that position. You talk about Minister of Foreign Affairs. Every single ministry that Denzel touched, every single part of it, he failed. Even in his constituency, failed to deliver for the people of number 6. Once ago, water used to lock off a certain part. Every single village in constituency 6 lose water by 6 o'clock. Every single village. Right? And then they're celebrating 36 years as a representative for constituency number 6.
We have a caller. Caller, you're live and unfiltered. Caller?
Yes. Good evening, man.
We could barely hear you.
Oh, wow. Okay, what about now, man? Any better?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, basically, man, I'm just going to say it straight how I see it, man.
Yes.
I'm disappointed to see what's going on in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yes.
In such a small space that we have and such a small population, and when you put the amount of money these guys generated from the CBI in 40, 41, 42 years, St. Kitts and Nevis undoubtedly supposed to be way further ahead. Money that came from that program could have had that same Kim College Stadium up to speed.
He could have been covered.
The children, it could have been covered, of course. The children shouldn't have to suffer through this. We have these leaders talking about they're interested in human what do you call that? Human investing in the humans or whatever. You could probably put that in context for me as
Human resources.
Human resource.
yeah, human resources. Yeah, definitely. But the children are suffering. They can't even go and complete their own meat so that they can develop their skills and push out to the outer world
Yes.
based on their talent. But we got to get St. Kitts and Nevis together, man. And the United States, they're not going to stop with this stuff. Do anyone of you guys remember when we lost our
visa-free travel to Canada. I mean, I wasn't into the mix yet back then. But is it the same way how that thing with Canada went down? Anyone of you guys can recall that?
That
So
was, that
if you
was
can
under the
recall
Labour,
that
that was
time
under the
period,
Labour administration, Carlo.
yeah, but AZARD, what I'm saying, right, isn't this narrative the same when that Canada free visa status was lost?
It's labor again.
So some persons are delusional and illusional.
What's the common
They're
factor?
thinking-
What the common factor at the end now?
This is what I'm trying to ask you because I wasn't in the political
Common
mix
factor is
back
the Labour
then.
administration making a mess of
So,
things.
if they think that this stuff is a joke from the United States side, let's see what's going to come out of that meeting. I understand that there's going to be a meeting with the leaders of the Caribbean and Marco Rubio this week. We await to hear the results of that meeting.
Yeah, I await the results as well too, and I hope that our representatives do a better job at representing us at that meeting than they have been doing so far. Because if they're
And
so
not only-
easily
and not
fooled by
only-
so many other persons, I really question what they go and say
And
when
not
they're outside.
only AZARD, and not only for that meeting coming up, but on the whole, generally speaking, we elect leaders to represent us, and our leaders, they keep having the country going around in circles. Our leaders, they don't have the integrity. They're selling out the place, and they're not representing the people that put them there. And this vicious cycle got to be changed. Any change that needs to come to St. Kitts and Nevis, the politicians, they don't care about making the necessary changes to benefit the people. So the people, they're going to have to rise up. The people are going to have to rise up and stand up for their own selves and for their own benefit. But thanks a lot, man. I'll leave it there because I know you guys got to get off shortly. But you personally, as well, just keep doing what you're doing, man. I wish you the best going forward, buddy.
Thank
and
you
your
so much,
colleagues,
bro.
all right? Thanks a lot.
Next call.
Yeah,
Next
thanks,
caller.
bye.
Thank you. Caller?
Quick question. Let me follow up on Burl. Now, Azad, who will be our representative to meet with the State Department, Mark Rubio? Who will that?
That'll be
Who is
fine,
that?
Fizz.
ambassador?
Well,
Huh?
well, I haven't seen the release as yet, so I cannot speak right now on something that I have not seen, and so.
Okay,
when
let
I
me ask
do-
you another question. Shouldn't it have been the foreign minister?
Well, one would assume that the foreign minister would be involved.
Well, hear this. I don't believe America want to sit down with the foreign minister, you know, because you know what they have on him already. So how could he go represent? He's not qualified because America already put whatever on him. So who is there? Who next? You see, sometimes we may think we could wear a cap, but the cap not fit because we have to look at long term and the ramifications. And what are they going to say? See? I don't see where a representative is sound right now for our country. So they're gonna have to go back to the drawing board. And remember, this is not a Caribbean thing. This is to each his own, every mule to their plow. What happened in St. Lucia, what happened in Dominica, what happened in Antigua is different to St. Kitts. Everybody have a uniqueness. And look, they are gonna be interrogated. And I bet you everyone come up with something different to each other. And if it doesn't sound right to the State Department, you will see everyone get their own, get a lash for themselves. I hope the people don't suffer from who's going to represent us. Because America, let me just say this, America is not after the people of the Federation of St. Kitts. It's our leaders, the kleptocrats. They don't have no dynamic vision. Okay? They are like dumb. And we need new, intelligent minds to handle these things. Okay? The buck stop there. So let it go and mess up with the countries. Anyhow, they don't make a proper statement that is worthy. They're going to mess up St. Kitts and Nevis. And the people are going to suffer. Thank you.
That's a scary thought, boy.
Thank you for your call and your contribution, caller. Yeah.
That is indeed a scary thought because so far they haven't come out on top in any kind of negotiations, any kind of deals. It has all been a bad deal for us. So, wow.
Remember when Dr. Drew said that he has investors lining up? I wonder if East Coast was one of that investors.
So, what them, the wrong guy? No, what them you know?
Yeah, but as you laugh it up, but seriously.
I know it's serious.
Because remember that East Coast come on board only, you know.
Yes.
So
that was one of the first investors that they brought on.
Because one of the problems, I mean, we have farmers have met with Dr. Drew, and one of the problems that he have stated is that WTO. We can't do something called WTO. So we're getting knocked out because they're afraid to do what is necessary that would benefit us, our people. So imagine going into this negotiation. What are they going to give up, man? My goodness.
Well, the scary thing is, as that caller rightly said, if the representative from number 6 have to be the one that going there to represent St. Kitts and Nevis, if he got to be the lead negotiator, we're in a bad shape. Terrible shape. His track record is so terrible. That was the same guy who will lose visa-free access to Canada, and you know. That was the same guy who there was warning against the Bragadam and this and that with passport, you know. So if we look at who going to represent us, and then if it's the Prime Minister go to represent us, if it's he go, we know definitely that he's lost.
Yeah.
So it's a
well, at least we know
bad
who's
situation.
not going. I don't think Samuel Duggins is going. At least we could be thankful for that. Caller, we have a caller. Caller, go ahead.
Yes, I just want to end tonight. I want to get back in for 1 quick minute. The caller before asked a question: who's going to represent the federation, right, in such a meeting with Marco Rubio? But I understood that there was a clip circulating this week concerning our foreign minister right now. You know, persons have made the observation that he hasn't traveled to the United States in 5 years. And whatever reason, if that is true, you know, how are these leaders capable of representing us, man? That's my last question, last contribution I want to make, man. You guys have a good night, man. Thanks.
We're going to send somebody from PAM to represent us. I think I will give Shanishi first trip to represent St. Kitts and Nevis.
Want to be cool, eh? That would be an ideal solution.
Yes.
Real.
People's Action Movement.
Yeah.
So I was been the party with the ideas, with the plans, with the foresight. So
Yes.
I would be confident if Pam was in the seat right now.
Yes.
But Azad, I mean, I guess it's almost time, isn't it?
Yes, almost time.
Yeah, so I will just like to, you know, there was a accident happening in my area, right? And it's so sad that we had to lose a young mind, a young soul. It's unfortunate.
Yes.
And I just like to send out my condolences to the family, right? And the whole community, because they lost a soul and there are others who are critical. And all of them is from one area, right? And it's very unfortunate. And I just want to just keep them in your prayers and ask for speedy recovery for those who are in critical condition. Yeah.
I too want to extend my condolences to the families who have lost loved one, a young lady. It cannot be easy. I want to encourage persons who continue to use the road to do so safely. It is alarming the number of casualties, fatalities that we have as a result of road negligence, persons being negligent on the road. And so we have to be very careful. We ourselves as drivers, we have to be careful that, you know, the approaching driver, the approaching vehicle, we have to be cognizant of the fact that it might not be our own fault. We have to look out for others as well. And so, yeah, I want to share my sympathies with everyone who has lost a loved one in that manner, form. Kyle, you want to say anything?
Just to echo the same sentiments, my condolences go to the family. And those on the street, just remember, think it's small. We're a tiny place. You're going to reach. No need for speeding or anything like that. Those who are driving, you have to drive a little defensive for you and others. Don't just drive for yourself, and don't feel it's not going to be me. Don't feel like you're the best driver ever, so you could take any corner, anything. Drive carefully. Be careful. Don't give anybody a bad day, right? And I've seen some drivers driving so recklessly, like, it's early in the morning. Why you want to give everybody a bad day? Just slow down, drive carefully, and keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah. Well, we will continue speaking on the issues, keeping this administration's feet to the fire, keeping them accountable.
Azad, quickly, I would just like to say, shout out our political leader, Shani. You know, we had a press conference, and I saw her. I see the real strength of a woman come out, and she was under the weather, and she's still right there, and she answered the questions, and she was there fighting on behalf of the people. So I would just say kudos to our political leader, and the team done a good job.
Yes, and we will continue to hold this administration's feet to the fire. We'll continue to show that, you know, the People's Action Movement is out there to ensure that we make these ministers accountable. We're not going to be afraid. We're going to have our conversations unfiltered. We're going to have our opinions, and we're going to come with the facts. God's willing, we'll see you next week on another episode of Unfiltered as we continue to speak on behalf of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis.
The views and opinions expressed in this program were solely those of the participant or caller and do not reflect the views of WinFM 98.9. WinFM reserves the right to disconnect any caller who infringes the law or offends the right of any person. The station will also refuse to take any call from any person who, in WinFM's considered opinion, is likely to expose the station to liability for statements made on the air.
Lord, this can end in a serious dilemma. Now that the country been run by labor, it's pure mayhem, scandal, disorder. With this Labour Party in power, is this a social club in disguise? Or some kind of criminal enterprise? What a menace to society this administration turning out to be. The PM got a so-called advisor, telling people how to get away with murder. It's non-stop attack on the treasury with paper daddy and money salary. This Labour bunch shot to the core, lacking integrity, that's for sure. Economists all hard life crippling, we a collective menace, menace to society. It's like it's all cheap and no India. It's like lunatics running the asylum without a plan, ideas or structure. It's the people who left to suffer. No prop, no peace, pay, unemployment. No money for bills, much less enjoyment. Total advantage, that's we fake. Under these enemies of the state, AAG, dedicate liar. He really a proper plain labor, third politician now for sure. Going from door to door in number 4, law and order not a priority. No one in charge of the nation's safety. DAD joined the cult of the greedy. We just a menace to society. Government buildings, well them the worst. We infrastructure seem like it costs. Electricity and water walk with the moon. Every month you hear the fix coming soon. Under labor life for this pure misery. Oppression, depression and tyranny. This gang is a menace to society. Life in SKN, this ain't no joke. Like the whole country going up in smoke. While Mr. Smiley and 10 money one busy fighting, jockeying for position. Lord have mercy upon all of we with this menace to society. Government buildings, well them the worst. We infrastructure seem like it costs. Electricity and water walk with the moon. Every month you hear the fix coming soon. Under labor life for this pure misery. Oppression, depression and tyranny. This gang is a menace to society. On SKN, this ain't no joke. Like the whole country going up in smoke. While Mr. Smiley and 10 money one busy fighting. Jockeying for position, Lord have mercy upon all of we. With this menace to society. Sees menace to society. Them are enemies of the state. Lord have mercy. Under the weight of the lies, they need their honor show. They got to go, they got to go. It's menace to society. Them are enemies of the state. Lord have mercy. Under the weight of the lies, they need their honor show. They got to go. Them are enemies of the state. Lord have mercy. Under the weight of the lies, they need their honor show. They got to go. Oh, they got to go. Oh, got to go. Oh, they got to go. Oh. Gatekeepers for the people.
It's the start of the week. It's time for a new perspective. It's time for Unfiltered. Join AZARD GUMBS, lawyer and deputy leader of the People's Action Movement, for raw and unfiltered political analysis of the current events in St. Kitts and Nevis. Tune in every Sunday evening from 7:30 p.m. on WIN-FM. Join AZARD GUMBS as he breaks the mantle and cuts through the unfiltered political noise to bring you the facts. Unfiltered every Sunday evening on WIN-FM 98.9.
You ever hear earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee"?